Somebody find a solution to when you're eating a salad and the salad dressing flicks into your eyeball. Like, we just need to figure out. I've had this happen multiple times this week, right before recording the episode. Flicked some, vinaigrette into my eyeball. My eye is still feeling a little funky 45 minutes later. Like, we need to find a solution to this. I'm not sure what it would be. I guess we could have, salad goggles. But I want something, better than that.
Welcome back to Stuff That We Like / Enjoy, at least at this point in time. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Christina.
And we're the Castanettas. And today, I'm going to ask Christina, what's something that you like / enjoy?
Something that I like / enjoy is a topic. I do not like what is the topic, but I was interested in it.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it.
Love it.
And that is social contagions.
Social contagions.
How they work and what they are.
All right.
Do you know what a social contagion is?
The first thing that came to mind was that dancing. You know what I'm talking about? Like, people couldn't stop dancing in like the 1900s at some point. So I don't know what that was called, but I assume that was a social contagion.
You are correct. And we will get to that a little bit later on.
All right.
So for an official definition, a social contagion, it's also known as a behavioral contagion, emotional contagion, or mass hysteria. It's a phenomenon in which behaviors, emotions, or beliefs spread rapidly through a group of people, just like the flu would spread amongst a group of people, or a cold, except for it's all in the mind. It's like a psychological infection, you could say. And they often occur in high-stress environments and often involve physical reactions triggered by the mind. So people might all kind of start sneezing. They don't need to sneeze, but their mind is like, let's sneeze kind of a thing. Sneezing. So it's a mind, triggering reaction.
They get hit by sneezes.
Yeah. I don't know if that's ever been one, but it could be.
Sneezy Jesus.
What's that?
Sneezes.
Sneeze. Oh.
Sneezes comes to town.
Heresy.
Yes, it is heresy. All right.
So psychologists note that they're more common amongst people who know each other rather well, like friend groups, classmates, coworkers, and they're often happen in times of uncertainty, anxiety, or just cultural tension. So you're less likely to develop a social contagion with a bunch of strangers, but it could happen.
Okay.
So some common social contagions would be I yawn, and then you yawn.
I yawn.
Because you see me yawning, and then the person next to you yawns. Just kind of our brain and our mind likes to mimic things around us. And that person yawned, maybe we need to yawn too. The same thing happens when somebody claps and then everybody else kind of starts clapping.
Yeah.
You just kind of do it. You might not even realize why you're clapping or really be that enthused about the performance that just ended, but you're going to clap. Same thing, somebody smiles at you, you usually smile back. Somebody starts laughing at the table next to you at dinner, then everybody else kind of starts chuckling or laughing. The same thing can happen with bad moods. So somebody comes into a room, you're getting together, hang out with friends. Someone comes in, they just have a bad, crappy mood. And then everybody else kind of gets a bad mood.
Totally.
As well.
Totally.
Another interesting one was that of scratching or itching. Kind of like somebody's they're like, oh, I got bit by a bunch of mosquitoes. Like, oh, I feel like I have bugs all over me. And then you kind of feel like you have bugs all over you and you're just kind of itching yourself. So those are all just kind of mild examples of common social contagions that we all experience each day. And a lot of that is just due to our mind mimicking people around us. Yeah.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about some historical social contagion and then a more modern one. So that is the dancing plague of 1518.
Okay.
So older than you thought. So in the year 1518, in Strasbourg, France, a woman named Fra Tropha stepped onto the streets and began dancing uncontrollably.
Fra Tropha.
Fra Tropha.
Fra Tropha.
Trophia. One of those. Never said Fra Tropha. So she began dancing uncontrollably, and she just couldn't stop. She would even like dance, and collapse from exhaustion, rest briefly, and then get up and keep on dancing. They like couldn't keep her from dancing. And within days, more than 30 people in the town joined her. They all just started dancing in the streets, and they weren't like happy about it. It's like they just felt like they had to dance, like a compulsion. And people tried to get them to stop. They're like, no, I must dance. They would get worn out, collapse, revive, get up, start dancing again.
No, I must dance.
And this was people of all ages dancing, so young and old. And within a month, the plague had spread to more than 400 residents of the town. And people were dancing for days on end, even weeks, to the point that some people were experiencing heart attacks, strokes, and even died from exhaustion. And
heart attacks?
Yes.
From dancing?
Yeah.
On the streets.
Nonstop.
It'd
be kind of like you set out to run a ultra marathon and just kept running for 300 miles. They're just getting worn out and like not stopping to eat or drink unless they'd collapse and they feel like they needed to dance again. So local doctors told the city officials that the dancers had hot blood and they just needed to dance it out. That, you know,
that sounds about right.
It's like the black plague, like, oh, it's spread through smells. So let us not smell people, you know.
Some potpourri going.
Yes. So city officials hired local musicians and cleared out city like tax halls and let people dance there because like, oh, we'll kind of contain them. But then it just caused it to like spread more.
That makes sense.
Because people are like, oh, let's go see what's happening in the dance hall.
Yeah.
And they start dancing too. And there's music to go along with it. So it finally died out over time after literally some people died. And they started separating people, just kind of bringing them to separate places, locking them in rooms and stuff so they're not all dancing in the streets. And it kind of over time just kind of faded away. So historians, they think there could be a variety of reasons. Extreme stress from famines, maybe smallpox, or superstition. Some people thought that they were being cursed by a local saint, and so that they needed to pay penance to him. Oh. But yeah, it just turned into a citywide kind of frenzy, and it's like the earliest documented case of a mass social contagion.
So is this where the movie Footloose kind of comes from?
No, but that's hilarious because Footloose would be kind of an example of a social contagion.
Yeah, it's like I gotta do it.
Yeah, we
gotta dance.
We all gotta dance. Sneak away at night and dance.
That's so interesting.
Very interesting.
So to recap, just for my brain, one person started dancing, Sophia Tofia, whatever her name is, and the rest of the people were like, okay, I feel like dancing now that I see somebody dancing, and it led to deaths and like people not being able to go to their jobs or go home.
Just disrupted the whole town
because they were dancing. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me how many people this affected?
They believe it was over 400.
Over 400 people.
Yes. And there's documentation of like upward of a dozen people were dying a day, and then just a few people died. So who knows? This happened 600 years ago, but
man, my dad died dancing.
Right? What a wild story.
What a wild story. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So here's a more modern one. I actually watched a little short documentary about this. It's on HBO Max on the TV series. It's called The Curious Case of, and this one is about Leroy High School in New York. So in 2011, at a senior high school in Leroy, New York, in a very small town, there was about 7,000 people in the town, a group of teenage girls suddenly developed involuntary tics, like twitching, jerky movements, kind of weird speech patterns, and outbursts that mimicked Tourette syndrome. And it just spread throughout the school. So there was about like 15 to 20 students. It was affecting almost all girls. Most of them were friends with each other. And they brought these kids to different medical doctors to get their brains scanned, all this stuff, because they're like, maybe some of them had been smoking weed or spice or some like synthetic THC. So they're like, that can create some psychosis. But they did drug tests on them. Nope, that's not the cause of it. And so they brought them to like the New York State Department, did a bunch of investigations on them, and they're like, it's just a social contagion.
Wow.
And they traced it back to, there was actually a girl at that school that had Tourette's since she was like 8 years old. And she was pretty bullied at school and kind of made fun of because she would have these outbursts or kind of swear or jerk weird. And people would make fun of her, but she also got some attention, like from teachers or people noticed her. And so they think there was a little bit of this slight mimicking that happened, even like subconsciously, like, oh, she gets attention. I kind of want that attention.
Yeah.
And it kind of just spread throughout the school. And it happened over like a period of 6 months until they kind of started keeping some of the girls home, like homeschooling them, kind of spreading them out. And then it kind of died away, except for the girl who actually has Tourette's. Still has remained. So that was another interesting one. But they did all sorts of brain scans, and they were like, pretty much, we can't explain it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When was this?
This was in 2011 to 12.
2011 to 2012. So some girls saw a girl with Tourette's in class.
They grew up with her for, 5-6 years. So.
And she was getting attention.
Yeah.
And so they naturally developed symptoms of Tourette's. Mm-hmm. This is an example of a social contagion.
Yes.
That you're telling me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It really does make sense. The more you're around people with tics and stuff like that, I would think that you'd start to pick them up in the same way that if you're around somebody who says the same words a lot, like we say nice a lot, we say like okay or interesting a lot, and we just kind of, you probably started that out, and then I kind of picked up more and more of those words, so it makes sense. It's just such an extreme example, that it's a little bit frightening. You can pick up some really negative habits from actually mentally not unwell, but unstable people or unstable people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there was several more that this has happened throughout history. One was in 1960s in Tanzania in Africa. Like some girls started just kind of laughing uncontrollably in class, and then it spread throughout the school, and then it spread to surrounding towns. And it was like a period of like a year and a half where people were just like uncontrollably laughing, and kind of spread throughout the country.
Wow.
Just another one of those like social contagions, and could be due to stress, all of that. But we just like to mimic, and it's kind of like an outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, have you ever experienced anything kind of like that?
I mean, there's definitely been some like moments at church and stuff where people are laughing or the Holy Spirit's moving, and you kind of start to like feel it or vibe with it. And participate, even though you aren't necessarily feeling that. I know when I was young, that was always a temptation, and sometimes I definitely gave into it. But as far as like an actual social contagion outside of the church, I don't know. I mean, I have some tics and stuff like that. Blinking a lot. I mean, my older brother did that when we were younger, and so I probably picked that up. And that's been like a lifelong thing I've been trying to get rid of. So I don't think anything extreme, but I definitely get what they're talking about. Like if you're around somebody and they're doing some extreme weird stuff, you're going to be symptomatic if you're around them long enough. It's just what's going to happen. And I think you'll probably get to this, but it's just the way humans are made.
Yes.
Because we want to be part of the tribe. We want to be sympathetic and empathetic to what somebody's going through. And so matching body language with the person you're talking to it's supernatural.
Yes.
Like you were going to do that because you're trying to connect, and your body naturally will. Somebody has their arms crossed, you'll cross your arms sometimes because you're trying to communicate, and you're sending signals and you're receiving signals even subconsciously through body language. So I think it's just part of it's just way we're wired.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's pretty much what scientists have come down to say. It's that we're wired. One view is that we're wired just to mimic each other, and kind of, that's how we learn as little kids, is mimicking our parents or those around us, which is why it's really important what you're exposing your children to, different patterns or, behaviors. But also this need or want to be like important or special or noticed, the
Totally.
kind of that can subconsciously happen.
Yeah.
This is a little morbid, a little maybe trigger warning about self-harm. In my high school years, I was probably like 14 years old in my youth group, and there were quite a few people that were girls specifically that were self-harming themselves. And so we would have like these prayer times, and different people would get up and share their testimony. But like the testimony was like, this is all the things I did to myself up until last Tuesday, and now I've stopped. So it wasn't like they were quite free from it. You know, I think testimonies are great when it's like, and I stopped doing this, not just yesterday, you know, kind of a thing. And so throughout the youth group, it started becoming a huge problem that all of these, quite a few girls in the youth group started self-harming themselves. And they had never thought about it before or even heard of it until people are getting up and sharing about their testimonies, to the point we would have like little small groups throughout the church talking about it. And like one girl pulled out a tool that she would use for self-harm, and another girl started using it during the small group discussion.
No way.
And then people get up and share testimonies like, I wanted to, but I didn't. And this, I went to my, you know, the kitchen at night and I was going to do it, but I decided not to. And it became like a huge problem to the point where they were like, okay, nobody's allowed to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
And so they found in scientifically that specifically teenage girls are very susceptible to social contagions and this need to like want to feel connected or important. And like this girl on stage, oh, she's getting a lot of validation from the youth pastor and everybody else. And then they're doing something that they never thought of before that was introduced to them.
I wonder if that's because females are more social than males. Like,
I think so.
I've heard the term like men are interested in things, women are interested in people. And that's not across the board, but statistically that's true. And so at a young age, when you're trying to make friends, trying to fit in, and you see somebody doing this negative thing, but that's the way that you can connect.
Yes.
Maybe that is one of the reasons why teenage girls in general, I don't know, I'm just spitballing
and it can all
here.
be so subconscious. They're not even actively thinking, oh, this is how I can connect.
Totally.
Very crazy.
Very dark example, but very true.
Yes. Which then leads into another controversial thought of, for girls currently in our day and age, teenagers, about 30% of them identify as LGBTQI+.
Right.
And that has to be, in my opinion, more than just everybody was like closeted for all of human history, for it to be such a crazy spike among specifically teenage girls. It's such a quick rate.
Yes.
That there's something to, oh, I never thought about that I could be a boy. But now that's like the people who decide to be boys are like really celebrated and special and have cool communities. So at least I'll be non-binary, you know? Not that there isn't true like gender dysphoria, but I think there's a lot of that. It's a slight social contagion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like contagious. Well, like you said, social contagion, but it's very empathetic.
Yes.
Contagion. You know, we feel for you. Feel for you so much that we kind of want to be there with you in a sense. I was listening to an interesting radio show about Taylor Swift yesterday, and the fact that she was like single for a long period of time, and now is she married now?
No, she's getting married, I think, this summer, but she's engaged at least.
Engaged to be married, and so happy in being engaged and the whole process up to getting married, it seems. But a lot of people are angry at her because
she was Miss Feminist.
But at the same time, low key, she was not. Like all of her songs were about, I love this guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry this didn't work out, or I hate this guy because this didn't work out. Or some of them were, I'm good enough myself. But a lot of it was, she was known as the heartbreak artist for a long period of time. And now we see people disliking her for getting engaged and going on to be married. But at the same time, they're predicting, people are predicting that there's going to be a huge increase in marriage after she gets married.
Wow.
Because of her audience in the way they follow her, because the audience slowly turned their ship towards the feminist.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of this. I don't need a man.
I'm a boss babe.
Yeah. And now they're predicting that the whole ship's going to turn the other direction and be like, where's my man?
Right.
I want my boy. I want to
Taylor
get
Swift
married.
got her dream. Let's do it too. Yeah.
Yes. And so it's just the susceptibility of her audience, which I would say is probably teenage to,
30-year-olds.
30-year-old
way too
women.
old-year-olds. Yeah.
Yeah. Women specifically. But that just shows you how much sway, even somebody that we aren't around every single day, but we kind of idolize in a way, can have over you and create almost a social contagion by proxy.
Totally.
Which is insane.
Very interesting. And you could even point to, like, with Taylor Swift as an example, the biggest artist on the planet, I think maybe still currently, the love of her was a social contagion. And almost like, I think that, she almost hit her peak, and I think she'll continue to be popular for quite a while.
Yeah.
But not to the level that maybe she was in the last year or two.
I could see that.
To the point that, people are grown women in their 30s are going to her concerts, weeping, having these like blackout experiences where they leave and are like, I don't even know what happened. I was just in the experience, kind of a thing. People that couldn't get tickets driving to, I know people personally, which is no shade to them, but sitting in the parking lot of the stadium, crying, singing along. There's got to be a little something, social contagion. This wanting to be a part of it. This is important. It's meaningful.
Yes.
And I'm going to miss out if I'm not a part of it.
That plays into everything too, like politics, being part of the radical left or the radical right.
Mass hysteria. Yeah.
Or
like that's another way of saying social contagion. Yeah.
For sure. I'll let you finish before we get
No, that's good. That's all I had.
Okay. But yeah, it's just people want to be part of something and they'll do whatever it takes to be part of that thing. And it makes sense. So we're all just trying to find our clan. We're all just trying to find our people.
I totally understand it. Yeah.
And if you have to be extreme, if you got to dance until you die, you got to dance till you die, baby. Get on the streets, get your shoes on, girl.
Just dance all day.
Dance all night. Dance till you die, which is a Lady Gaga song, I think she just came out with. Maybe it's a tribute to that. But yeah, it's very interesting, the social contagion, a thought that you've brought up and presented, that it's a real thing. And it's cool to see how it ties into politics and Taylor Swift and different things like that. So great job presenting.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
Another thought is like you see a crowd forming and like you just stop to see what's going on.
Totally.
There's even like restaurants or clubs that will hire people to be the ones who start the line.
Really?
So that then people are like, oh, that's a good club to go into because there's 12 people in line outside. Then people will even line up and not even really know what they're lining up for. You go to like a food truck area, like, oh, that one has a pretty big line. But then if you shifted, like you took 20 people and stuck them in front of like the random, seafood truck, that would then become the one that people are going to. We're so like simple as humans.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And it's strange how we've talked about it a couple times, but the people who are kind of defining what we love in our culture and our society are artists. They're movie stars.
Yeah.
They are music artists. They're painters. They're architects, whatever. But the people with the most influence today, the ones deciding what we like and dislike, are largely people that they're not like the political leaders.
Yes.
Or the activists or anything like that. And it's just strange to see all these social contagions born out of people who just like to make art.
It really is mainly art. Yeah.
I'm not upset about it, but it's an interesting fact to look around and be like, oh, all of Tom Cruise's influence comes from the fact that he likes to pretend to be other people in movies.
Yes, and runs really fast.
It runs really fast.
Yeah, like when, I don't remember which Avengers movie it was. One of the I don't remember, maybe you do, the one that was like made the most money. It was like a bunch
Probably Endgame.
Yeah, Avengers Endgame or whatever. I remember friends, they're like buying tickets weeks in advance. Like there was showings, like till 2 a.m. I think it broke records and stuff. And I remember watching the movie. I'm like, it was like fine movie.
It was a good movie.
But it like gained this traction that it's like, oh, people are like, oh, you're going to go see it. Oh, I better buy tickets too. Oh, well, you bought tickets. It's this kind of like, oh, there's a lack of availability. I have to get in on it.
Yeah.
So they made like $2 billion. It was like a fine movie, but maybe not any better than the one before.
I don't think so.
You know?
Yeah.
Another thing of social contagion.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's kind of like a ladder. Mm-hmm. It's just, or the trickle down effect of the social contagion.
Yeah.
And then the people in the movie, I saw this the other day, the people who are playing in the movie will get interviewed and people will be like, what's in your pockets every day? Like, what's your everyday carry? And then they just go through and be like, I always have gum.
Yeah.
I always have like lip balm. And it's like,
Get 12 million views.
12 million views.
Maybe not none of the many, but yeah.
And to be totally honest,
I'll
the
watch
actor,
it.
yeah, I'll watch it and I'll be like, that's actually pretty cool. I'm going to do that.
I want to know what's in Tom Holland's pockets.
Because there's a need to connect. There's a need to be part of something. It just makes sense.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking of so many different social contagions.
I know,
Yeah.
me too.
It's kind of cool.
Great topic.
Thank
though.
you.
Very well presented.
All right. On this next part of the podcast, we're going to go into our season special segment, which is villains of history.
Yes.
I believe. So, babe, tell me, what is the villain that you were highlighting today and how we can not become like them?
Okay. So I'm going to tell a little bit of the story and then I'll let you guess who the villain is
Great.
before I reveal who they are. So this is a little bit of point of view. So let me take you on a journey.
Oh,
here.
great. Thank you.
You wake up hungry. Not just, I skipped breakfast hungry. The kind that sits in your bones. Your village used to grow its own food. Your family worked the land. You knew what you had. But now, everything is different. The government took control of the farms. They told you it would be better, more efficient, more equal. So you gave your grain and you trusted the system. Weeks pass, then months. The food rations get smaller. Your neighbors stop coming outside. You hear whispers. People are hiding scraps, stealing, disappearing. You go to the local official and you tell him the truth. We don't have enough food. But he doesn't write it down. He doesn't help. Because if he reports failure, he gets punished too. So instead, he reports a record harvest.
Wow.
And that lie moves up the chain. More grain gets taken, more food leaves your village. Now people are collapsing in the streets. Your family starts boiling things that aren't even food. Leather, bark, anything.
Ugh.
And the most terrifying part, the people in charge think everything is working. Or worse, they know it's not, and they refuse to stop. So people begin to die by the millions. Not from war, not from disaster, but from a decision that no one is allowed to question. And the man at the top of it all?
It's a communist pyramid scheme guy. Stalin?
No.
Okay.
Mao.
Mao. I don't know anything about Mao.
I didn't know anything about Mao before this
He's
either.
bad, and he has a red book.
Yes.
That's all I know.
Mao Zedong.
Okay, China, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mao Zedong, who is he? He was the founder and leader of Communist China from 1949 to 1976.
Okay. A while ago.
So under his rule, tens of millions died. Entire social classes were targeted and destroyed. A little bit of the history behind who Mao is. So he grew up in rural China in the late 1800s. He saw poverty. Sorry, I skipped way ahead on my notes. Let me see. Okay. He saw poverty, inequality, and weak leadership. And he developed a belief early on. China needed to be completely remade. Not slowly fixed. Completely remade. He was drawn to revolutionary thinking, especially communism. So during the Chinese Civil War, Mao learned that violence worked.
Interesting.
So he executed landowners, crushed opposition, and used fear as a tool.
It's kind of like Genghis Khan. It worked. violence and fear worked.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly like Genghis. So by the time he takes power in 1949, Mao already believes one concrete thing. You can't build a new world without destroying the old one. So Mao wants to transform China instantly.
Right. Like remake it. Not
Yes, completely. But instead of adapting what's already there, instead of adapting when things fail, he doubles down. So he begins to see people are starving and he doubles down. So even as people are starving, like we talked about in the story, reports are falsified, criticism is silenced, and policies continue. So my question to you is refusing to admit failure one of the most dangerous traits a leader can have?
Oh, I think that's huge. I think that the majority of leaders throughout history we could look back on and they just wouldn't admit things weren't going right, and continue on with the failure for their own party's good or their own, legacy.
Can you think of any like examples from your own life?
Where I wouldn't admit failure?
Either that or you've seen a leader kind of fall from grace just because they wouldn't admit failure.
Oh, I mean, just about every president in our lifetime, I think, has had moments of that where they didn't admit failure. I don't know, fully fall from grace, or even presidents who would say are good presidents, but like wouldn't admit, like, yeah, that didn't go too well.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Well, part of it, I think, in the American political system is because it threatens, like, their whole political party, maybe their family legacy. It's a bad indictment on their religion or donors who have given to them, a variety of things. But also, I think that statistically, the majority of like presidents or like political leaders tend to be a little bit more narcissistic or think that have an inflated view of themselves as well. Or maybe not fully in touch with the reality. I don't know. But I think it's human nature. We don't really want to admit that we messed up.
Yeah. I think it's systemic too. It's systemic from family, probably a wrong base of family core values. You know, if you're wrong and you're growing up and you're disciplined harshly because you're wrong.
Yeah.
Until you're right. And then we say, hey, we accept you, and that's great. You did something right. I think it teaches you, as long as I'm not caught, or as long as I don't admit it,
right,
then I'm not going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I think it probably goes down to a family level.
Yeah.
Like a nurture level when it comes to people, when it comes to just being unable to admit you're wrong when you are.
Yeah.
It's probably just fear.
Right.
Based out of fear.
Yeah. So back to Mao, did I miss how he came into like leadership? So you said he was a peasant.
Yeah.
Farmer.
So during the Chinese Civil War, he kind of just became a hero, a bit of a hero, and learned, like I said, that violence worked.
Right.
And so he fought his way to the top and took over China.
And then he's like, okay, we're going to have the I want to say the country, the government collect everybody's food and then redistribute it to them.
Yes.
But there was a lack of food.
Yes.
And so the people under him who were taking the food and redistributing it, they weren't even telling him because they didn't want to get in trouble or admit, hey, this isn't working.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So it's weak leadership makes weak followers, I think, because those people, he was afraid probably to admit that his system wasn't working because he doubled down on it.
Right.
And they were afraid to tell him it wasn't working because he was so harsh in his punishment.
Interesting.
So a little bit more about it getting worse as he was reigning. So there's something called the Cultural Revolution from 1966 to 1976. And this was a massive political and social campaign led by Mao to reassert control over China and enforce the communist ideology. So in simple terms, Mao tried to reset Chinese society by destroying anything he saw as old, traditional, or a threat to his power.
Interesting. Getting rid of tradition. Huh. That's so important for a country.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he actually believed the country was drifting away from communism. So this
Okay.
is kind of a hard reset. Like we talked about earlier, he likes to just, we're going to destroy everything old and get to the new as fast as
Right.
possible. So he launched the cultural, what they call the Cultural Revolution, to eliminate capitalists and trading influence, traditional influences, to reassert his personal control and to purge anyone who disagreed with him. He framed it as a movement to protect the revolution. In reality, it became like chaos everywhere. So Mao mobilized millions of young people. He called them the Red Guards,
Okay.
and they were told to attack enemies of the revolution. So loyalty to Mao became everything. So what these kids basically did is they would report on their neighbors if their neighbors weren't living a communist lifestyle
Dang.
or reading things that weren't communist propaganda.
Wow.
Kind of similar to the Hitler
I was going to
Youth.
say the or
Hitler Luther Jr.
like people during COVID who would like inform on their neighbors if they had friends over for dinner,
Yeah.
like in Canada or
Yeah.
countries like that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never really put that together until reading this about the Hitler Youth and
Yeah.
the Red Guard. Maybe that's something that just happens in terrible regimes.
Yeah.
The youth really go hard. Anyways, it continues. He continued to destroy culture as much as he could. So temples, books, art, and historical sites were destroyed. Wow. Old traditions labeled as dangerous, and intellectual life basically was wiped out.
How fascinating, because Genghis Khan, he was all about still preserving people's like religion and culture as long as they like follow him.
Yes.
Whereas Mao's like solution was like, let's just get rid all clean slate.
Except for his ideology.
Exactly. Yeah. Except for his. Exactly.
So there's a lot of public humiliation during this time. So people accused of disloyalty were dragged into the streets. They were forced into what they called struggle sessions, which would just be public humiliation and beatings. And a lot of them were imprisoned, killed, or sent to gulag camps.
Crazy.
Like prison camps to work for re-education. There was widespread persecution. So teachers, professors, officials were targeted, and families turned against each other with the Red Guard, like I had mentioned earlier. A lot of people sent to labor camps. So when we like compress how many people died over his rule, in the Cultural Revolution, 1 to 2 million died.
Wow.
It is theorized that 30 to 40 million people starved to death
Whoa.
under Mao.
So like 1 to 2 million were killed by like military or soldiers or things like that.
Yeah.
And then 30 to 40 million just starved.
Starved, you could say just starved. I have to correct myself a little bit here. There was a lot of forced labor,
Okay.
but they were also starving doing
Right.
forced labor.
Yeah.
And there was also concentration camp working without any food, So
Yes.
it was starving, but there were a lot of other factors that played into it.
Wow.
And they estimate it could have been from, like I said, 20 to 40. Some people say 15 to 45 million people died just from that. So the total, there's people debate what the total death toll is, but it could go up to 70 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's even more than Genghis Khan.
Yeah. So
Wow.
the critical truth here is that these policies continued despite the suffering that they were causing.
Yeah.
And speaking out was one of the big things that got you punished in his regime. So I think what we could take away, what my takeaway from this was obviously if you see a leader who's up and coming and they have any traits of not being able to admit to their mistakes and continuing to double down on things that aren't already working.
Yeah.
I think those are two red flags. But
Totally.
more than anything, for me, my takeaway was just be humble and just say I was wrong. I think that you can't go wrong as a good leader of your own household
Yeah.
if you're being the first one to admit when you make a mistake. And also, especially when you have little youngins looking at you or a wife looking at you
Right.
and you're trying to be a good example of who Jesus wants you to be.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity no matter who the Lord has set you over, whether that's a small group or an actual family, you have an opportunity to be a good leader. And I think the number one thing we could take away from this, and the number one thing I think makes a good leader, is humility. So just admit when you're wrong, take the blows, and get back up.
Wow, it's so good.
Yeah. Any takeaways for you?
No, I mean, I think that's just, we all need to, in our own personal lives, get better at like admitting I'm wrong. Even about little things. Like I would say that I think that I'm a wealth of knowledge of random facts. And then sometimes I'll say things and I'm like, I don't know if that's real. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
I've just gotten a lot better about, quickly just being like, oops,
Yes.
Because if you don't do that with little things, then you can tend to snowball into not admitting you're wrong when things really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did Mao's reign end?
I honestly don't know.
Oh. Didn't get to that part of his life.
I mean, I was just so...
I'm just interested.
He died on September 9th, 1976 at the age of 82 following a series of heart attacks from long-term illness.
So he didn't get
so
into
crazy.
his rule until like his 50s then, 60s.
I don't think so.
A little bit later on in life.
But my mom was alive
yeah.
while he was alive. That's so insane
That's crazy.
to think about.
You said he died in 77?
76.
76, yeah.
My
My
mom and
parents
dad
were
were alive.
alive as well.
Crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, but series of heart attacks.
Wow.
We all got to die.
Interesting. Huh, I really don't know anything about that kind of time in history. I don't know, I think growing up in school, we focused mainly on American and like European history and then some world stuff, but obviously not much Asian history.
Same.
Yeah.
And you got to think about it. The 1900s were insane because you had World War I,
Yeah.
World War II, and then Mao on the other side of the world killing upwards of 40 million, maybe up to 70 million people. And so we lost millions.
We had the Vietnam War, the Korean War.
Oh my
just all that stuff in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Millions of people.
What a crazy time in history.
And yet we still have 8 billion people on the planet, which is pretty insane.
And growing.
Yeah, growing.
Wow.
I know.
Fascinating. Huh. Well, it's cool to learn a little bit about him. And yeah, kind of his main thing was not admitting he was wrong. Because there can be I'm pro-socialism or at all, but there can be some helpful values or concepts in it.
Yes.
Like, providing for people. Everybody gets their fair share, all that. But he didn't admit, like, hey, this isn't working to the point of people are starving to death.
Yeah.
All over. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I understand that's a strange line to walk if you're a leader of a nation, to be able to say this didn't work, because it invites criticism.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, remember that time that huge thing you tried didn't work? Why should we reelect you?
Right.
Why should we keep you as our leader?
Especially with someone like Mao, who it doesn't seem like was just like in a fair and free election elected to be their he was just a dictator.
Yeah.
Even more so as a dictator, you're not going to be like, oops, I messed up.
Yeah. That's so funny. You could be a benevolent dictator,
Mm-hmm.
You could be kind.
Yeah.
They choose not to be.
Love it. So interesting.
Yeah.
Great one to choose.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we end our podcast, we want to throw a suggestion out to our listeners. So do you have a suggestion to give?
Do. I'm going to take yours. I just know it.
Okay.
Bagels.
That was my suggestion.
We went out to get bagels today. This place downtown KC called Luca Bagels, and they're delicious. It was just like a fluffy bite of goodness. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I haven't had a bagel in a long time. It was
Me
like
either.
it's like a really, really good bagel. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go there every day, but I'm just saying every once in a while, go out, reward yourself with a bagel, some cream cheese, sit down, have some coffee with it. Just enjoy life for a minute.
Yeah.
This is your reminder to go get a bagel.
I love that. It was very fun stopping by a bagel shop because we're doing another vegan challenge this month. And so we were like, we wanted a pastry, but there's not really vegan pastries. And we're not doing sugar. So I'm like, a bagel would be perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, I haven't had a bagel since I was a kid, like on a regular basis, So find a good local bagel shop and go for it.
Yeah. Is that your recommend too?
Well, I was going to recommend that if you didn't. But my recommend is that somebody find a solution to when you're eating a salad and the salad dressing flicks into your eyeball. Like, we just need to figure out. I've had this happen multiple times this week, right before recording the episode. Flicked some, vinaigrette into my eyeball. My eye is still feeling a little funky 45 minutes later. Like, we need to find a solution to this. I'm not sure what it would be. I guess we could have, salad goggles. But I want something, better than that. So if anybody has a solution out there, that's my recommend.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, great recommend.
Thank you.
Lastly, what's your contentment level today, babe?
Oh, I would say it's like an 8.
8?
Yeah.
Let's go. That's awesome. Why is it an 8?
Slept good. It's Saturday. I have a day off work. Went and got a bagel this morning. Worked out. Like, just kind of an overall good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel I'm an 8 as well.
Wow, that's really high for you.
It's super high.
That's really high
I've
for
been
you.
high lately, and so
great.
I feel like I'm bouncing on like a pile of books. I'm ready to topple.
Ready to plunge right back to your typical 5.
Yeah, a 5. Yeah, we had a great day. We had a bagel. Like I
great.
said,
Yeah.
can't go wrong with a bagel.
Everything bagel.
And then, we've just been hanging out and having a good time. So
good.
I'm an 8.
Cool.
Look at that.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Good to meet you too. Lastly, on this podcast, we like to tell you about a couple things we have going on. Christina has an Instagram.
Yes.
It's called
See Joyfully.
I have an Instagram. It's
Caleb
called
C Media.
That's right. You can reach out to us on either of those if you have any questions or interesting topics you'd like us to do. You can also reach out through our Instagram for this podcast at
Stuff That We Like Podcast.
Yeah, on Instagram. And you can reach out through email at
Stuff That We Like Podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. And we also invite corrections. So if you hear anything we said today that's incorrect, please correct us and we'll read it on air.
Yes.
Yeah. Other than that, we love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
It's been a good time. You have fun?
Good. I did.
Good.
On to next week's Dictator.
That's right.
There we go. All right. Well, this has been Stuff That We Like / enjoy, at least this point in time. And we'll see you next week. Bye.